Here along the Channel coast of England begins one of the most remarkable stories of the war. It's the story of the creation of the artificial harbors in Normandy. The strange contraptions which you see here made possible our entire operation in France. They enabled us to land 6 armies across open, storm-swept beaches and to supply our armies when the Germans wrecked the French ports. These huge hollow blocks of reinforced concrete are called phoenixes. Each phoenix is 200 feet long, 60 feet high, 40 feet thick, and weighs 8,000 tons. More than 100 phoenixes were built in England to be towed across the Channel to form breakwaters. This device is a Lobnitz pier. These 480-foot bridge sections are called whales. When the whales are assembled, they form a continuous bridge like this practice assembly put together by the Seabees at the Isle of Wight. The Lobnitz piers rise and fall with the tide at the offshore end of the bridge. Captain Clark was in charge of the landing operation at Omaha Beach, and Commander Collier of the 108th CB Battalion was in charge of towing and sinking the Phoenixes. This was the greatest towing operation in history. Many of the invasion ships towed sections of the harbor installations. The tows were made ready on D-2. More than 300 tugs were used. One tug was assigned to a phoenix or a whale or a Lobnitz pier. The bridge sections, or whales, floated on special pontoons called beetles. Some of the beetles were made of steel, others of concrete. Each whale had a towing crew of 6 Seabees. Here a tug is preparing to tow a phoenix. The long whales crawl like serpents across the Channel. The steel posts sticking in the air from the corners of the Lobnitz pier are called spuds. A dumb barge. Many of these, loaded with ammunition and rations, were towed over and rammed high and dry onto the beach. Our planes blanketed the towing lanes. Each Phoenix carried a 6-man CB towing crew and a 12-man Army gun crew. The gun is a 40mm AA. Glider troops passed over the convoy at H-2 hours. A corvette, part of the escorting force. To create the artificial harbor, we began by sinking the Phoenixes along a rough semicircle swinging outward from Omaha Beach. Beyond the Phoenixes, the bombardons were moored to reduce wave action at the entrances to the harbor. Inside the harbor, the 3,000-foot bridges were assembled, running out to the floating Lobnitz piers. The 2,100-foot sunken causeways afforded dry, firm surfaces for landing at any tidal stage. The seawall was completed by the line of sunken ships. The lateral tide range was 2,000 feet. This meant that at low tide, 2,000 feet of the bridges were resting on sand and 2,000 feet of the causeways were exposed. Note the water depths. The vertical tidal range was 18.5 feet. The Phoenixes were sunk in water that was 32.5 feet deep at low tide and 51 feet deep at high tide. The first tows began arriving at Omaha on the afternoon of D-Day. As the Phoenixes arrived, they were carefully jockeyed into position. Each Phoenix was simply a floating section of a seawall, and the problem was to sink the Phoenixes so as to form an effective barrier against the fierce channel waves. Each Phoenix has 10 compartments, which were flooded to sink the Phoenix into position. At high tide, the sunken Phoenixes had 9 feet of freeboard. "39 Phoenixes were sunk at Omaha, and the seawall was completed on D+7.